Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today is the last video in our series covering immigration options. Today, we're going to look at the immigration options to the United States of America. Before we start, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. So let's get straight into it. The United States of America is the most famous country in the world, so it doesn't really need a whole lot of introduction. America is famous for a number of reasons. It has a rich history, and its great monuments like the White House, the Statue of Liberty, and Mount Rushmore are well known across the world. America has also had great influence on global culture, ranging from music, movies, sports, tech innovation, well-known personalities, and so much more. The US has a population of about 329 million people and with a landmass of 9.8 million square kilometers. The US economy has the largest GDP in the world, and as you can imagine, it attracts a lot of immigrants. In fact, the US tops all other countries in terms of numbers of immigrants accepted. On an annual basis, over 1 million people migrate to the US, with Mexico, China, India, and the Philippines as top contributors. Why does the US attract so many migrants? Good question. Well, the US is seen as a country where even foreigners can achieve the American dream and live a comfortable and fulfilled life. There's numerous examples of successful migrants in the US. For example, Elon Musk, Salma Hayek, Indra Nooyi, Sergey Brin, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and Lupita Nyong'o, just to name a few. Fun fact, based on recent research, Indians and Nigerians are one of the most successful migrant groups in the US. Indians are the highest earning ethnic group in the US, while Nigerians are the most educated, even higher than the national average. Let's introduce you to Mira. Mira works for one of the largest global card payment processors, and she is based out of Mumbai in India. Mira is one of the top performing stars in her workplace, and she recently got an offer with the same company for a role based out of the United States. Mira is extremely excited as she has never lived outside of India, and she spends the entire weekend researching the various visa options to the US. Essentially, there are two broad categories for migrating to the US. There's the immigrant visa category and the non-immigrant visa category. The immigrant visa category allows for the issuance of lawful permanent residency or green card to applicants, while the non-migrant category allows for a temporary stay in the US. There's a large number of non-immigrant visa options, but for the purpose of this video, we're only going to focus on the temporary workers visa category, as it allows for a transition to permanent residency at a later date. So let's spend some time looking through the various options individually. First up is the employment-based visa under the immigrant visa category. This visa category sometimes requires a job offer and a labor certification from the Department of Labor. The labor certification allows an employer to hire a foreign worker to work permanently in the US based on the assertion that there are no locally qualified Americans that can fill that role. The prospective employer must also file a petition with the US Citizenship and Immigration Services, also known as USCIS, which must be approved before the immigrant visa application can be submitted. There's a limited number of visas issued under this category every year, and they're spread across 5 preference levels, covering people with extraordinary talent, investors, skilled professionals, etc. With a valid job offer from a reputable organization, there's a high likelihood of getting your immigrant visa approved, as your prospective employer typically manages most of the administrative tasks involved with the application. Next up is the family-based visa under the immigration visa category. Like the name suggests, U.S. citizens or green card holders can apply for immigrant visas for the immediate or distant family members. Family members are not required to have a job offer in this scenario, so that is one good aspect. There is also a slight difference in terms of what can be applied for by a U.S. citizen versus a green card holder. U.S. citizens can file an immigration visa for a spouse, child, parent, or sibling, but green card holders can only file for a spouse or unmarried children. So if you have family members living in the U.S. or green card holders, you might want to consider this option. The next option is the Diversity Visa Lottery Program. This is the popular visa lottery program targeted at countries that historically have low migration rates to the U.S. The program is run on an annual basis with a limited period of time for applicants to submit an application. Applications must be electronic, and multiple applications will result in instant disqualification, so you probably want to avoid doing that. At the end of the registration process, a random selection of applicants is concluded based on quota assigned to each region and country. If you are lucky enough to be selected, then the next steps will involve submitting the required documentation to complete your immigrant visa application. Now, this concludes all the immigrant visa options. Next up is the temporary workers visa, which is the only category we will be covering in the non-immigrant visa options as previously mentioned. The temporary workers visas are for individuals who want to enter the U.S. based on a valid job offer, which is expected to be temporary and only lasting a fixed period of time, so it is not considered permanent or indefinite. The prospective employer again must apply for a labor certification and file a petition with the USCIS. This must be approved before the visa application can be submitted. The temporary worker visa applies to a large number of scenarios, such as graduating students from a U.S. university with a job offer in hand, individuals looking to complete intra-company transfers, athletes, individuals with extraordinary abilities, and so on. With the temporary workers visa, there is the opportunity to apply for permanent residency at a later date, and employers are usually willing to help employees with this transition to a different visa status. So, we've once again summarized the key requirements for each of the options covered in this video into this table. As you can see, most of the options require a valid job offer, and this represents the predominant way people migrate to the US. So even if you come in as a student, for example, when you graduate, you would have to get a job to continue to stay in the US, or then start another study program. There's a limited number of these visas issued on a yearly basis, so this is quite a competitive process, as the US is still the most attractive destination for migrants. So there's no guarantees, even when you have a valid job offer. The US immigration process is not a point-based system, so it is quite complex. There's a yearly cap of 675,000 people on the number of immigration visas that can be issued, which is determined by the Immigration and Nationality Act. Family-based immigrant visas make up the largest chunk at 480,000, followed by the employment-based immigrant visas at 140,000, and then 55,000 for the Diversity Visa Lottery Program. For the temporary workers visa option under the non-immigrant category, this is capped at 85,000 annually, and this quota is often met before the end of the first quarter of the year. Coming back to Mira, Human Resources have advised they will proceed with the temporary workers visa specifically under the intercompany transfer category. Her employer takes care of the labor certification application and the immigration petition filing process. These approvals come in soon enough, and Mira starts to put together, with the help of the employer, the necessary documents which Mira will need to use to apply for an H-1B visa at the U.S. Embassy in Mumbai. Mira's visa is approved, and she is beyond excited and looking forward to her new job and life in the U.S. She starts the process of packing up her belongings and saying her goodbyes to friends and families as she prepares to depart Mumbai for New York in a week's time. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this video useful, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get the alerts anytime we upload a new video.